Hi, welcome to Verbling class. Today we're going to be having a debate about care for the elderly. Should elderly people move back in with their children, or is it appropriate for children to enroll their parents in assisted care facilities? This is a debate that will reflect a lot of cultural differences, and hopefully we'll have a variety of opinions. So everyone please go ahead and click the green Join Class button to join the class. And hi guys, welcome.
Hi.
Hi, ma'am.
Hey. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I'm putting slippers on right now because my my heat is broken in my apartment this morning. So I took a cold shower and then now I'm putting on my slippers, so I'm trying to keep warm. So hopefully they fix it soon. Fortunately, I have a lot of warm winter clothing, so I'm bundling up and wearing all of my clothes to stay warm. There we go.
Whoa.
Okay. Ready to go.
Hi to everybody.
Hi. Welcome,
ma'am.
welcome back.
Thank you, ma'am.
Does anyone have warm weather right now? Is it warm outside for anyone? Or is it winter time for all of you?
Yeah, for me, ma'am.
No, it's cold.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cold here. I live in France now, and it rains here every single day, so I'm trying to get used to it, but it can be a little bit depressing. Okay, cool. We have some more people logging on. Welcome, everyone. Does anyone have snowy weather? Is it snowing for anyone?
No.
No, ma'am.
No. I like snow. I like to go skiing. So I always at home. We're at the place where my parents live in the United States. It snows a lot, and so we always want it to snow for Christmas time. There's a song in English that's called "I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas." Yeah, you may have heard it before. But anyway, I always want a white Christmas, which means I want it to snow on Christmas. But here I think we're going to have a blue, wet, dark Christmas because every day is rainy and dark here.
Is there any snow?
No, apparently it snows sometimes, maybe 3 or 4 times a year, but so far it just has been raining. It's like very cold, but it's not quite cold enough to snow, you know, so it's just been, yeah, it's been raining. But
are you in Paris?
I'm near Paris, yeah, I'm in the region where Paris is, so it's northern France. Yeah.
Do you study in France?
No, I finished my studies in California in the United States. I studied human biology and pre-medical studies. Now I'm in France and I'm teaching English to French kids and to you also. And then when I go back to the United States, I'll go to medical school, and my dream is to become a doctor. So hopefully.
Are you a doctor?
Yeah. Someday, maybe in like 8 years, maybe I'll be a doctor. That's my goal. So it's a long course of study, as it is in most countries. But.
All the best.
Sorry? As you say, all the best. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Okay, so I think we're going to get started with introductions. Oh, and Vivian in the chat is saying that she has a summer day in Brazil, so we can all be jealous of her because she gets some good weather. It must be nice to have sun. So today we're going to be talking about care for the elderly. This is something that is important to me. I think about it a lot because in America there's a lot of changing opinion about it. So first I'd like to meet you guys and have you introduce yourselves, and afterwards we can talk a little bit more about the topic and hopefully share our opinions and get in some good conversation. So first I would like to know what your name is. I know some of you and some of you I don't know. Your name, what country you were in, and your favorite sport or your favorite activity. So I'm Libby. I am in France, and my favorite sport is skiing. I really like to go skiing. And someone asked me in the chat, why don't I come to Turkey to go skiing? You know, I think I will. Maybe later this year I'll be able to go to Turkey and go skiing. So yes, so Libby, France, and I like to ski. Eleni, can you introduce yourself for us?
Hello again, Libby. I left earlier, but I came back for this debate. I love debates.
Yay, good.
And, okay, I am from Greece, from Crete. And my favorite sport is... actually, I don't have a favorite sport because I don't have time to do any.
Yeah.
So if I had to choose, I would say that I like jogging, you know, this slight exercise. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Why are you so busy? Do you work or are you a student? What do you do during the day?
Actually, I'm not a student. I am a translator.
Oh.
And also, I'm a mother. I'm waiting for my son to come back from the nursery school. So I take advantage of this time to talk to you a little bit and practice.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad that you're being a mother is the busiest thing ever. So I'm really glad you found some time in your schedule.
Actually, you can say that motherhood is a sport.
Yeah, seriously, it's definitely, and it's definitely it's an intense sport for sure. I'm very thankful for my mother and everything she did for me. Okay, cool. Thank you. So we have Erhan. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thanks. And you?
Good.
I am from Turkey.
Okay, wonderful. And what is your favorite sport or activity?
My favorite sport is football and swimming.
Awesome. Cool.
I like swimming. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Let's see. We have Hasnan. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Can you tell us? Yeah, we're saying our name, our where we are, and our favorite sport.
So my name is Asnan, and I'm French actually.
Cool.
And it's summer where I live. Did you hear about French island?
Yes. You live on a French island.
On an island in the Indian Ocean near Mauritius Island.
Wow, that's awesome.
And if you want to visit, it's really great. We have two volcanoes. We have a lot of beaches. We have a lot of sightseeing. 60% of our island is part of UNESCO.
Wow.
So you should come here for your next holiday.
Yeah, that's a good advertisement. I think I'm convinced. Great, thank you. Let's see. And then, did you say your favorite sport? Yeah.
I don't have any favorite sport, but it's in my resolution to do some cardio and running about 3 times a week.
Nice, good. That's a very good resolution. Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Ian. Ian, are you here? Okay, Ian might you might need to work on your microphone because I can't hear you yet, but let me know if you get it working.
Is it Lisa?
Let's see. Kadir, are you here?
Yeah.
Could you tell us your name and where you are and your favorite sport?
My favorite sport football.
Okay, great. Can you maybe try to either speak more loudly or turn up your microphone because I can't really hear you very well. I heard that your favorite sport is football, but I can't, it's hard for, the volume is very low when you speak, so if you could try to turn up your microphone or something, that would be helpful. Okay, cool. So let's see, next we have Luis.
Well, hello. My name is Luis, and I am from Uruguay. I am an actor. So many years ago, I practiced jogging, but one day I broke my leg. So today I walk. I walk in the city.
Yeah.
In my country, no, we don't know the snow.
Yeah.
I see the snow when we traveled in 1984, German, but I don't like the snow. I prefer the summer.
Yes.
Hate the winter.
Yes, that makes sense. Snow is very cold.
Today raining a lot, but it's for one day because we stayed in summer and the sun shine and I go to the beach. I like the beach.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
It's my first class with you.
Yes, welcome. It's very nice to meet you. Okay, awesome. And then we have Ragul. Hi, how are you? Ragul.
Fine.
Oh, hi.
Ma'am. Hi, ma'am. My name is Ragul from India. I like playing football. And my favorite team is Manchester United. And I like David Beckham.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Nice, thank you.
Thank
All
you,
right, so I think, and then Ian, did you get your microphone working yet? Okay, not quite yet, maybe. All right, someone has like a beeping sound in the background. I'm not sure who it is, but try to mute your microphone if you have background noise in your room, just for everyone, because otherwise we can hear the noises in your room. So if you have noise around you, just mute your microphone when you're not speaking for us. Okay, wonderful. So we are going to get started talking about today's topic. Today's topic is about care for elderly and aging people. So at least for me in the United States, people care for their aging parents and their aging relatives in a variety of ways. So sometimes people's parents move in with them when they're old and they take care of them. Sometimes people enroll their parents in assisted living facilities or nursing homes. These are what we call the places that where a lot of elderly people go for care and assistance. It's becoming more and more common in the United States to enroll old elderly people in assisted care living instead of having them come live at home. And this is controversial because some people, in some cultures, people believe that it's your responsibility to care for elderly people, and that you shouldn't just leave them in some, a hotel, hospital-like place alone. But some people believe that it's better to send old people to places like that because they just don't have the time. For instance, if I'm working full-time, if I'm a doctor or something, I don't have time to take care of my mother when she's 80 years old, so it's better if I send her somewhere where they can care for her. So today's debate resolution is that people should care for their aging relatives in the home. And I'm going to write that in the chat. People should care for their aging relatives in the home. So that means if my mother is getting old, I should have her move in with me, and I should take care of her in my home. So if you believe yes, that's true, then you're for the resolution. If you believe no, that's not true, it makes more sense to send people to assisted living facilities. You can say that you're against the resolution. You do not agree. So for people who believe yes, people should care for their aging relatives in the home, can you write yes into the Verbling classes box? Can you basically type yes or no, or whether you agree or disagree, into the Verbling classes box? That way we have an idea of what everyone in the class is thinking about this resolution.
Actually, it's not a simple decision. You cannot answer it by a yes or no.
Okay, I mean, I think the point of debate is usually that you argue for or against something. So it's maybe you can choose which one you agree with
The most.
the most. Yeah.
In an ideal world, for example.
Well, no, I think it should be in the real world, because the whole point is that the world is a difficult place, and so maybe you think that in theory, yes, you should care for elderly people, but maybe in practice it's impossible, So in that case, I would say no, I don't agree. I think that it should happen, but it's impossible if you have a full-time job and blah blah blah. So I think that when you say whether you agree or disagree, it means like in your life, like in your world, this is what you think everyone should do. So just type your general yes or no in the chat box, and then we'll start just talking about our own individual opinions. Okay, so we have a lot of people saying yes, you should take care of elderly people in your own home. Okay, most people are saying yes. Make sure to put in if you think no or if you have doubts about it, because it seems like we have a lot of people saying yes.
Hello.
All right, I think, yeah, go ahead and type more of your opinions into the Verbling classes, and then we will get started in just a minute.
Excuse me, I just arrived now. What is the topic today?
Hi, Manuel. How are you doing?
Hello. Well, fine.
Today we're talking about caring for the elderly, so aging parents or relatives, and whether you should care.
The oldest people, take care of the oldest people.
Yes, and whether you should care for them in your home, or whether it's better to either have them live on their own or put them into a nursing home or an elderly care facility. So. Okay, so we're having just people are typing their opinions into the Verbling classes box, and then in about 1 minute we'll start talking about, we'll start sharing our own opinions. Okay. So yeah, so why don't we get started talking about it? I would like to hear what you guys think about this. So why don't we just start off? We'll have one person say their opinion and make a statement about what they think. Remember that in a debate, when you make a statement, it's a good idea to offer evidence for why you think what you think. So you should say what you believe, and then also provide evidence to support your point. So either or why you think what you think. After one person gives a statement, we'll leave time for another person to give a statement that either agrees or disagrees with what they said. So make sure to offer your own opinion, but also say how it relates to other people's opinions. So who would like to go first and tell me what you think about this topic and why?
Can I speak? I
Yes.
was late, but thank you.
Yes, hi.
Yes, hi, my name is Gassan. I'm from Iraq. And I think somebody else is speaking right now.
Yeah, sorry, I muted his microphone. He had some background noise.
Yes, okay. So, about the issue, I think there is no other way to do it. You know, maybe some people, they have the, you know, the option to put the elderlies in the, you know, special houses, but most of the people around the world, they don't have this option. So it's not an option, but if you know, throw out your parents or your elderly, you know, family, then they have no other place to go. It's a moral question. They probably, many of them probably would die. Imagine in Africa or in Asia, most of the people, they don't have this, you know, leverage to put or this luxury to put their parents or elderlies in any other house besides, you know, their own house. So it's a question of moral. Do you want them to have a bad life somewhere else, maybe in a, you know, in a rental house or even in the street, or you want them now with you? Though maybe they could be, you know, pain in the neck or something like that, but still, it's a moral decision. I think the moral says you keep them with you even when you are not happy, or it's you know, they are even they are bothering you or annoying you.
Yes, I think that's really well said. So in most parts of the world, people do not have an option to send their parents or their relatives to a nursing home. So of course, if you don't have the option, you're right, then it's a very important moral decision. And I think that in that situation, the choice is easier. If you don't have the choice to send them to a nursing home, and you don't want to leave them on the street, it's yeah, you're right. Sometimes you need to take in your parents, even if they totally annoy you, because they're your parents, you know, because it's your responsibility to care for them. Okay, great points and really well argued. Does anyone have another statement that either agrees or disagrees with what is it Gassan? Is that right?
Yes, it's Gassan. I think you can't. You are not able to say the first letter, so you saying Gassan is enough.
Okay, thank you. All right. So does someone want to make another statement that either agrees or disagrees with what Gassan said?
Yeah, ma'am. I can agree, ma'am.
Okay.
May I?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Eleni.
Okay, I totally agree with our friend Yasan, and I'd like to say that I had the chance to visit a nursing home, or a care home in the past, and it was really a shocking experience for me because I saw people there, although they were offered the best service from the people working there, they still felt lonely. It was like it was like a train station waiting for the death. You know, it's like waiting, staying there and waiting this fatal event.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really shocking, and this whole loneliness and solitude of these people really makes you be put in their places and think, when I grow older and okay, and I become old, what will happen to me? You know, it's like setting a good example for your own kids in the end.
Yeah. Okay,
This
great.
is my point.
Yeah, I think I think that's a really good point. So there are a lot of care facilities or nursing homes where the conditions are really poor, and it would be wrong to send your parents to a place like that because it sets a bad example for where your children should be sending you. You wonder about when you're going to get old, and it's important to think about the living conditions and the loneliness and the idea of, you know, coming close to the time of dying and how you want to treat that part of your life, and maybe being at home is a less lonely way of getting older. Okay, cool. Who else has something to say about this?
Myself.
Ragul, did you want to say
Hello,
something?
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Because my parents love me most, but I cannot sell them to any nursery because they are sacrificing my life, sacrificing their life for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because we must take our parents to live with us.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's just the way, it's just the way you do things, and that's the way it's going to happen. So, okay, cool, well said. Who else would like to say something about this? Who else has an opinion about this?
Well, if nobody wants to speak, I can, add something.
Okay, go ahead.
I think, the grandmother and grandfather are very important for the children in the family. So if you have to, if you want to have the circle of life, you have to have you need to have the grandparents in the house with the grandchildren, so they feel that they have roots. They are not just, a small family, not related to anyone else. So I'm speaking with the experience that the grandfather and grandmother normally, even maybe other elderlies, could help the children, the small, kids, to to feel much comfortable in their environment, because they understand the whole life much better when the family is complete. It's not just one parents or two parents, no grandparents. Now everybody is there, so it's helping. I'm not saying they should be in the house with the the grandparents with the small children, but I'm saying they should be in their life. It could be with them in the house, it could be somewhere close to come by. But for someone who doesn't have the opportunity to rent a house or keep their parents in a separate house, they should consider this is actually, there is a positive side in it, which is communication between the elderlies and the children, and this not only gives a good feeling for the elderlies, but it gives a good experience for the children as well.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Grandparents can be a very important influence in the lives of their grandchildren. And I agree. I think it's very important for there to be communication between the grandparents and the grandchildren. Something that I would ask you guys, though, I want to know what all of you think. Don't you think that it's hard as an elderly person not to have other people around who are your age? One of the reasons that nursing homes are popular in the United States is because when people get older, a lot of their friends start to die, start to not be around anymore. They maybe move away, and a nursing home can be a really good way for elderly people to actually be able to spend time with people who are their own age. Do you think it's hard for grandparents in the home to only be around their children and people so young all the time? Do you think they miss being able to talk about the old times and think how things used to be? Do you think they miss that? What do you think?
I don't know exactly the question. Can you repeat?
Do you think? I think it might be a problem that when older people, like when grandparents live in the home with their family, let's say there's only one grandmother, and she lives with everyone who's younger than her. She doesn't have anyone her age to talk to. Don't you think that would feel lonely in a different way if you have no one left that's your age? Like, don't you think that could be a hard part about being at home?
I don't think so, because the main problem is association with the elderly. As you said, that the lonely situation. If the parents have children, and these children are treat their parents in a good way, there is nothing can be said as a lonely situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
May I add something?
Yes, please.
Well, you know, as people grow older, I can see from our great-grandmother, it depends on their personality. Some of them get to be more introverted and they are not open to new people. You know, they feel secure in their surroundings, in their family, in their home. They don't want to move a lot. You know, this I believe is the climate here in Greece, the situation here in Greece. I can see people coming from other countries being more extroverted. You know, they get retired, and it's another kind of freedom for them. Here in Greece, you see people getting older and they don't socialize so much. I don't know why this happens, really. Maybe the family bondings here are too strong. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's interesting. Okay, another question. So I think that I have the most different opinion here of anyone. Let's see. All of my grandparents lived in nursing homes, all of them. And all of my friends' grandparents lived in nursing homes. It's extremely common for middle-class Americans to do this, to send the grandparents to nursing homes. It's like completely normal. And the reason it's controversial is because of the reasons that you have all been saying, because it can be lonely, because sometimes the living conditions are not very good, because it's your responsibility to care for your parents, so it's not correct to send them to a nursing home. So people have these opinions, but the real reason that people do it in the United States, people do it very often in the United States, is because of time. So, you know, my parents are both lawyers. They're lawyers full-time. They work 50 or 60 hours per week, and they can't physically be at home to care for their parents. They just can't do it. And so my question is, what kind of sacrifices do people have to make to care for their parents in the home? You know, what about a household where everyone's working and no one's at home during the day? How do you manage to have the time to care for an entire person if you're working or if you're busy? What do you think?
Well, I think that's the problem for your side probably, because people live much more than, you know, other countries. That's why you have elderlies probably that they can't take care of themselves. Here, normally the elderlies, they take care of themselves in the house. You don't do much, you know. You make the food for the children, the same food is for the elderlies. So maybe you have to take them to the doctor sometimes, but that's not a big deal. You know, it's not like you don't have time. So I think even in America or in Europe, even those people have enough time, like 2 days at least, 2 days, you know, weekend to take care of their parents. I'm not saying that they should, but I'm saying that the excuse that we don't have time, unless the elderly is really disabled or really old, kind of old that doesn't understand what's going on, unless that situation, I think any you know, elderly could live in your house. You don't need to worry about it. They normally take care of the small things they need to do. I know elderlies in US, friends of mine have their mother in the house. Actually, she is almost 75, and she's the one who's doing everything in the house. She's doing the cooking, she's doing the cleaning. So her daughter, which is 50 years old, and the other adults in the house, they are actually happy to have her in the house. And like I said, unless they are really disabled, I don't think why they can't stay at your home.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I guess for me, my grandmother, for the last 2 years of her life, she needed someone to take care of her 24 hours a day, and we hired a woman to do, or a couple of women to do it, because we couldn't be there 24 hours a day. But she would get up and she would fall. She couldn't even with her walker, she couldn't walk to get food in the kitchen, and so she would fall, and she would have heart problems and things like this. So I think for us it became too, we couldn't have had her at home because she literally needed someone with her 24 hours a day when we couldn't be there all the time. So I think she was very disabled. So for very disabled people, it can become a very big sacrifice of time and energy to take care of them.
What I'm saying, I'm not against the idea of having parents in a nursing house. Even if we probably in this side of the world we had that option, probably many people would use it, at least for disabled parents. Even probably for younger parents, probably some people move that. The option is not here. I'm not judging you or people that do that thing. I think this is mostly it's depend on the case, and it depend on the country and the culture, and whatever they do, probably it's 90% of the time is the best for them and for their elders.
Yeah, that's really well said. Okay, who else has thoughts about this? Who else would like to say their opinion about this?
Well, I have to say that if you work not 24 hours per day, but 8 or 9 or more per day, it's very difficult to take care of your grandfather or your grandmother. You have three options. One option, you hire somebody who take care of them, or some kidsman that take care of them. Or the third option is you take them to nursing home. I think there are only three options.
Yeah.
I don't. My grandfather and my grandmother, 10 years ago, they were in nursing home. There was no problem. They have had a party every day. They enjoy in this place. I don't know other place, but I am happy. Is not the word, but I am
glad, maybe
glad, or I am
content
with the situation of my grandfather and grandmother in the past. Yeah. I think there are a lot of people that don't seem so, but I have a good experience with this.
Yeah, that's good. I think there's a big variety of elderly care in the U.S. So even for people who can afford it, some places are good and some places are bad. And we had to, we did a lot of research for my grandparents to figure out where was the best place that they could live. Another thing that you've all asked earlier in the chat was how much does it cost? And it's very expensive to send people to retirement homes or nursing homes. It's very expensive because you're paying for their food, you're paying for them to live there, and you're paying for their health care. And so it costs a lot of money, and insurance does not pay for it. So in America, a lot of people cannot afford to send people to nursing homes, and in a lot of other countries as well. So we were lucky because we had the option, but some people just don't have the option because it's very expensive. So my parents are saving money now so that they can afford it later, but it's something that you need to save up a lot for, and it can be very expensive. Okay, another question that I have for you all is about healthcare. How do you provide healthcare for people, elderly people who are living in the home, and who pays for it? Do you pay for your parents' healthcare? And who should? I mean, is it a problem? Like, do you need to spend a lot of money on healthcare for elderly people? And how do you save money? Like, how do you afford it?
For example, in Spain, there are a lot of nursing homes that is free. It is free. It is public installation, and there are private. There are private and public nursing house. In public nursing house, you have to pay, but you pay a few count of money. Not pay a lot of money. In the private nursing house, you pay more money.
Yeah.
If you can make the effort to take your parents to private money, the private nursing, better.
Yeah, so that's a really good point. Places that have public health care or public nursing homes, anything public, which means it's paid for by the government, that can be easier, but you have to pay more if you want private care. So in the United States, most healthcare is private. We do not have very much money for public healthcare, so we have a lot of problems with people who cannot afford healthcare. Okay, who else can tell me about how you care for your... Yeah, sorry, Manuel, did you want to say something?
Excuse me, public doesn't mean that it's worse than private.
No, not at all. But sometimes people can pay way more for private care. Not always, but in most cases, at least in the U.S., private care can be more expensive.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. There's some very good public care. There's some very good public care.
I want to say something. When we're comparing the United States healthcare with other healthcare, the United States healthcare is very expensive because there is more technology in the health field. But in another country like Middle East or Europe, the technology that used in healthcare is not advanced as United States. This is one of the reasons that make the United States is an expensive healthcare. As in my country, we have a public health hospital, and we have a private hospital. But when we're comparing the quality of health in private hospital, we have a very good quality when we compare with a health hospital, because the public health hospital especially, I don't know why, but the main problem we have something called we have a technology too in both private and health and the public. But the problem, no one, because the waves of the doctor is very low in the public hospital, they don't do the as right work, a good work. So they incline to the private hospital to earn more money and have a high income.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. The United States healthcare system, you're right, we do have a lot of really amazing technology, and we have access to a lot of really incredible care. I feel that in the United States I have access to really, really good quality healthcare. But we actually have one of the most inefficient healthcare systems in the world. The United States healthcare system is very poorly designed. I have studied this in school, and it's kind of depressing to study, but the really short version of it is that in the United States, doctors can choose how much money they want for a certain procedure or a certain thing. And they choose how much they ask the insurance companies to pay them. Because of this, a lot of times doctors charge different amounts for the same service, and it's not a very uniform payment system across the United States. So because there's not enough uniform ideas about payment, Americans spend way more money on healthcare than other developed countries, and we actually have some of the worst health outcomes of any industrialized country. So it's a very interesting system to study, and there's a lot to say about it, but that's the short version, is that even though the US has a lot of good technology, we actually don't have that good of a healthcare system in the end.
I heard that the President Obama want to make a free service health in USA. This is true?
Yes, so America recently passed something called the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act basically gives more money for healthcare. It makes our system a little bit more like the European system. So Obama does want to give free healthcare to more people. But we, in the United States, a lot of Americans do not want universal healthcare. So that means everyone who wants it can have free healthcare. We don't have that because Americans believe in independence and being individual, and they don't want to pay a lot of tax money for it. So yes, Obama has extended healthcare to more people, but it's still not a perfect system because we need to work a lot more on the way that healthcare is paid for in the United States. It's getting better, but we have a long way to go. Okay.
If you want more service, you must pay more.
Yes, I mean that's the way it works, and the way we're moving towards in the future is a system that's called bundled payments. A bundle is when you tie a bunch of things together, and so we want to bundle payments for services. That will make it so that instead of one person paying a ton of money and one person paying no money, everyone will pay like a closer amount of money, so that people share each other's healthcare costs more. So that's what we're trying to do, and I think that's a better idea. Okay, so does anyone else have anything they want to say about caring for the elderly or healthcare in your country?
Well, I think many countries there is no healthcare for anyone, not just the elderly. So it's just simple. Go to the doctor. Normally they don't understand what's going on. The drug is fake. And that's what you get. Many countries are like that. It's ironic that you says America or US has a corrupt or bad kind of system, considering you have not just the healthcare and aid care, social security and other kind of help for like SSI and different kind of food stamp. Everything is there, and you're still saying, yeah, it's not maybe Sweden. But still, it's a very good, health system. And the thing is about the systems in America, not just the health, but everything else, because they want probably to be the best or the greatest. Normally, they spend extra money, and yeah, normally many of it or much of it goes away, wasted. But to make it something big, you have to normally accept wasting money here or there. So if they make it like paying paying money for all the doctors the same, universal for all of them, for all doctors, then you probably wouldn't have the best doctors from all coming from around the world to US and inventing things and doing new things for the patient. In the first place, maybe the rich patient use it, but in the long term, every American would be able to use it before anybody else around the world, Why? Because they pay more to their, doctors or to their MDs. So it's probably not that bad, but you haven't seen bad. That's why you think it's bad comparing with France or Sweden or something like that.
Yes, I think those are really good points. I am sorry if that's what it sounded like I was saying. I do not think the United States has a bad healthcare system. I'm saying that literally, statistically, we have the worst outcomes of any industrialized nation. So that's basically between the United States and Europe. We have some of the worst outcomes. So I definitely don't think that we have a bad system. And you're right. I think we're very lucky. That we have, if we pay, that we can access technology and that we can access care. I agree. I think that's part of the reason that most Americans oppose universal health care, because if everyone has access to health care, the quality goes down, right? You pay for high quality, but if everyone has access, then no one will be able to get good quality.
Of course, I don't think that's the reason they actually oppose it. Normally humans want something for themselves and don't want it for others.
Yeah.
That's the main reason normally people oppose something who is, benefits everybody else.
Right. So they want stuff for themselves and they don't want other people to have it. No, I totally agree. I think that's why. And so that's why a lot of the reforms in the United States are not focusing on access for everyone. Instead, we're focusing on streamlining, basically like making it more efficient. A lot of the bureaucratic stuff, so like the paperwork and the money behind everything, that's what we're trying to save money in, and I think that's a better idea than making it totally accessible to everyone. But it's hard to know what's the best way to have a healthcare system,
For example, I have a question. If one person in USA, for example, don't have money to pay the doctor, he will die.
So you mean like, are you asking if you can't afford insurance, you just die? Is that what you're asking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So we do have insurance. Basically, we pay for healthcare for poor people. So we have what's called Medicaid and also Social Security for older people and Medicare. These are the names of systems that we use to pay for low-income people's healthcare. So we do help pay for their care. They don't just like die. The problem is there are some people that make a little bit more money, but they don't quite make enough money to pay for their own healthcare. So typically those people actually end up using emergency services. Like if you go and you have an emergency, you go to the emergency room at the hospital. People who have no healthcare usually use the emergency room, and then they just never pay for it because the emergency room is not allowed to say no to patients. So no, it's not that we really have people dying a lot. It's that we have people using emergency services instead of, so they don't go to the doctor every year. Instead, they just show up at the emergency room and spend a lot of money and then don't pay it. So it's then everyone else has to pay to cover that money. So that's what happens usually.
Who pays for the emergency department?
So the emergency department is a private part of the hospital in the United States. So what happens is you go in. So if I break my leg, I go into the emergency room. They treat me. They patch me up and stuff, and then they send me a bill. I have health insurance, so my insurance will then pay the bill. But for people who can't afford it, sometimes the emergency room will treat them, and then they'll send them a bill. Those people just don't pay their bills. So they fall into debt, they have credit problems, but they don't pay their bills. Because of that, basically the emergency room drives up prices for everyone else. So if I break my leg and I get a bill, they're going to charge me more than it actually costs to treat me because they need to cover other people that haven't been paying their bills. So what happens is private customers like me pay more for our care because the emergency room also needs to cover the cost of people who don't pay their bills. So it's the emergency room is paid for by patients, and just other people have to pay more sometimes to cover the cost.
You
Does that
said
make sense?
that patient cover patient.
Yeah, exactly. The cost is covered by other patients. That's exactly right. Yuval asks in the chat, Libby, if you don't have insurance, can the hospital refuse to help you? The emergency department cannot refuse to help you. The emergency department has to treat everyone. They're not allowed to turn away patients. Normal doctors, yes, they can refuse to help you. So if I want to just have a doctor's appointment, they can say no. If I don't have insurance, they can say, you either pay me $500 or I'm not helping you. So you can pay out of pocket for regular care, but the only care that you can go in and get immediately without paying for it is the emergency department. And you're supposed to pay afterwards, but sometimes people don't pay afterwards. But yeah, so normally doctors can refuse to help you, but the emergency room cannot refuse to help you. Yeah.
The service here in America are very expensive. No, I don't know how much.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure how much it costs. Like I said, doctors choose how much they charge, so it varies a lot between which doctor or which area of the country you're in. A doctor visit, if you have no insurance, I'm guessing would cost around $200 US, but it depends on what you need done. Sometimes if you need surgery, it can cost like, I don't know, $100,000. But if you have insurance, that's fine. It will be covered. But if you don't have insurance, you might have to pay what's called out of pocket for your surgery.
Out of pocket.
Yeah, we use that. We use out of pocket to refer to when you have to pay for your own health care.
Yeah. Thank you.
So, okay, we have time for one more question if someone has a question. Anyone? Okay. Well, thank you for talking to me today about care for the elderly and health care.
Thank you very much, too.
And hopefully I'll see you guys again very soon, and enjoy your day.
Thank you.
All right.
Goodbye.
See you later.
See you
Bye.
again.
Bye.